Bioluminescence refers to the ability of certain organisms to create light. The human body can make things like toenails, hair, and earwax, but these creatures can turn their bodies into glow sticks. It is caused by different chemical reactions taking place in the cells of the organisms. The reaction begins with the creation of a large packet or quantum of light energy from a highly specialized physico-chemical process. The process is a recombination of radicals, such as oxide or hydroperoxide, involving a specific molecule that undergoes a chemical charge when affixed by an enzyme, ATP, and oxygen. The reaction is controlled by an enzyme or biological catalyst that accelerates and controls the rate of chemical reactions in cells. The chemical energy excites a specific molecule, resulting in the photon, which produces the light. The light emitted is independent of any light absorbed by the organism. This whole reaction takes less than 1/1000th of a second, but the light will still last as long as the organism is in a state of excitability, provided the organism can absorb enough nutrients from its surroundings to sustain it. Photons are discrete energy quanta, and their energy is constant. The number released, as well as the intensity with which that release is perceived by our senses, may vary. The color of the light emitted varies based on the frequency of the waves emitted, and this also varies among different species. Take the firefly. Its ability to glow green helps it attract a mate on a warm summer evening. But that's just one of the many creatures that can glow. The railroad worm, for example, can light up its body in 2 different colors, red and green. This helps protect it from predators due to the fact that no sensible creature would want to eat something that looks like a glow stick. Then there's the deep-sea shrimp who lives in low sunlight. When it feels threatened, it spews a cloud of glowing goo onto its predator, which causes it to swim away. This goo also attracts larger predators who want to eat the shrimp's enemy. There are even many ways organisms that don't bioluminesce can make it work for them, even if they weren't born with the ability to glow. Let's look at the anglerfish. That glowing bait on top of its head, it comes from a pocket of skin called the esca. The esca contains a sac of bioluminescent bacteria. The anglerfish doesn't glow by itself, so it holds a sac of bioluminescent bacteria instead. Remember the firefly? It can actually make itself glow. Inside its lantern are 2 chemicals, luciferin and luciferase. When firefly luciferin and luciferase mix together in the presence of oxygen and ATP, the fuel for the cell, the chemical reaction gives off energy in the form of light.
A special property of bioluminescence is that the chemical reaction produces cool heat. This means that bioluminescent light sources cannot burn humans or cause harm to any living animals. Another advantageous characteristic of bioluminescent light is the fact that, unlike a glow stick, which wears out and loses its glow after a period of time, the bioluminescent chemical reaction uses natural resources that are easily replenished and are renewable. Once scientists discovered how the firefly creates its luciferase and luciferin, they used genetic engineering to make this light-creating reaction occur in other organisms that can't glow. For example, they inserted the genes for fireflies to create luciferin and luciferase into a tobacco plant. Once there, the tobacco plant followed these instructions and was able to light up. Another idea that many scientists are working with is the possibility of making the bioluminescence chemical reaction occur in trees. There would be many practical uses for these glowing trees, including the fact that it would create energy-free and completely environmentally safe light if they were planted on the sides of roads. The Dutch lighting and design company, Philips, has begun exploring the possibilities of bioluminescence and has produced an experimental BioLight. BioLight makes use of bioluminescent bacteria fed with methane gas and composted material. In Philips' experiment, the BioLight was part of a much larger system called Microbial Home System, a cyclical biological machine where waste like sewage, garbage, and wastewater are filtered, processed, and recycled to be used as inputs for various home functions. In other words, it works as a part of a zero-energy, zero-waste home. In the Philips model, glass cells hold the live bacterial culture that emits very soft green lighting when fed through the silicone tubes from the food source. And what exactly is the methane food source? You guessed it, human waste. But bioluminescent light, despite all the promises it holds, is limited to producing ambient lighting due to the low light emittance of the biological species. There are experimentations filling the cells with other fluorescent proteins that can magnify the bacteria's light into a brighter light and make it more usable for other functions. But its development for practical use is still far-fetched. BioLight will probably be used where low light levels are needed, such as exit signs, nighttime road marks and signage, step lights for cinemas, theaters and other dark spaces, indicator lights, and even atmospheric lighting for therapy and mood enhancement. The BioLight experiment could potentially create living energy products that are self-energizing, self-repairing, and even self-reproducing. However, Philips claims that the current light model is not considered a prototype for a future light fixture, but rather a concept for discussion, conceptualization, and experimentation. It opens up our thinking to unconventional light models. While the thought of lighting planet Earth with organic technology may still be remote, it's a concept that may someday be possible. Judging from the progress we've made so far, the future for bioluminescence may be closer than we think.